Well, it's been a little bit of time since I put out a video. I've been busy doing the Every Bit Counts challenge and finding that lots of fun, but I would like to give you just a little tour. We've had, like most of the country, some storms come through, heavy rains. At one point we had over 2 inches of rainfall in one day, so that's considerable. So it has stopped me from getting out and doing as much as I wanted to do out here in the garden. But let's see what's happening here late August, and I'll bring you along. We'll start here with my hedge of coleus, which I am so impressed with. I've really enjoyed this. It is kept me from noticing the weeds. I know the weeds come in, but usually they weeds toward the shed are so difficult to reach, and this has kind of blocked that. I am really enjoying it. The petunias were a bust. You see there's one little bloom coming through there, so they were not as vigorous as I had hoped, but the colors in the coleus is just making up for it. So I'm really pleased with that. I did have time to move the dahlia that was there. I'm not sure it's going to have enough time to do anything, but it is where I wanted it to be. The hydrangeas have at least doubled in size through the summer. So, and the bacopa is coming back. There's some little buds on it, and lipstick bush is doing its best to have a show of color. And I am seeing some buds on the mums, so we know fall is in the air. This garden has been overcome by weeds, but one can only do what one can do, especially during harvest season. This salvia has been a joy. I'm so pleased with this purple Proven Winners salvia. It looks lovely next to that gold bloom. And across the way, our butterfly bush is doing fabulous. I have seen so many butterflies and pollinators on that. Same here with the comfrey. You can see the little pollinators, happy as can be, little bumblebees hanging off of them. But the season is waning. You can see what the storm did. It kind of knocked down a lot of the plants. So probably we'll have to do a cleanup before not too long. Been harvesting and harvesting. It's time to cut back these garlic chives, because if those blossoms open up, ooh, one is opening up already, they will spread their seed everywhere. And as much as I like them, it's like mint, you know, a little bit goes a long way. These little yellow flowers, they look like buttons. That's tansy. So pretty. This is a ferny looking plant, is called senna, and it's a wonderful herb to support intestinal health. And the daisies are done. It's time to chop them back. But of course we need a little bit of good weather to accomplish that. My sage is doing really fantastic. I've freeze dried it and powdered it and mixed it with other herbs and made some wonderful spice mixes for the winter. Putting the gladiolas behind these peonies was a great idea. I am so pleased with that. Got the tail end of one that my neighbor is enjoying. Got a couple of white ones that are coming on, and this beauty of a purple one I'm sharing with my neighbor. There we go. The veggie garden is doing great. I've got lots of cucumbers. I've dried them after marinating them in a sauce of balsamic vinegar, a little bit of olive oil, and some soy sauce. I'll put the recipe below. It was really, really yummy. And this one I thought was a cucumber, is actually a patty pan. So I inadvertently, and I don't know how because I don't remember having seeds for it, planted a patty pan squash. I'm just looking at this bee just having a delightful time here pollinating. Well, I've picked 2 zucchini from this plant, and it looks like I've got another one coming, which is exciting. It hasn't been overwhelming like some zucchini, some people, but it's doing great. Actually, if it dries up, we've got to get these potatoes out of the bag and out of the ground here. Been harvesting lots of tomatoes. Right now I've got some tomato sauce cooking and enjoying them, finding the varieties that I will grow again. And the celery has been doing fabulous. Celery's like a cut and come again. So I use the leaves. I find the drying the leaves or freeze drying the leaves and making a powder out of them is a delightful way to get better nutrition into our bodies and getting more green. And these beans are just about done. They decided to do some more, so I've got a little bit of harvesting to do, which is okay with me. I love green beans. Actually went and got some at the farmer's market because there was a time when the green beans weren't doing anything. Got lots of tomatoes. Yeah, I'm very pleased with my garden this year. I think I have, it's either a pink aster or I think it's an aster because it's not rough like a straw flower. So yeah, I think it's time to top the tomatoes. We're not going to be getting much more developing fruit. What we have is what's going to benefit us. Got another one coming there. Been gorgeous. This cucumber plant has been very prolific. Got some beauties right there. Almost ready to harvest. I love the brand because it doesn't have a lot of big seeds in it. So, and the 2 big watermelon tomatoes that I picked, but they're kind of disappointing. They don't have as much flavor as I'd hoped. Beets and chard are coming in doing wonderful. Very pleased with them. The beets definitely will handle a frost, and so will chard, as long as it's not a freeze. This secondary crop of beans is looking fabulous. Not quite ready yet, but it will be wonderful once it starts coming in. It's just loaded with blooms. And over here to the second bed of tomatoes. Like I said, it was storming all day yesterday, so I didn't get out here and harvest anything. But if you stay tuned to the 4th week of Every Bit Counts challenge, you'll see all the produce that I've been working with, and yeah, it's been a fun year. I hate to see the end of it, but here in Michigan, we don't really have a fall season like in the South. But I'm okay with that because I'm totally not into 90 and 100-degree weather. As we get closer to the road, there's our zinnia patch. Lots of beautiful blooms coming from this little patch. Actually even have some amaranth coming into bloom, and the wind has knocked down that gladiola, but actually some of them did survive the gnawing that the bunnies did on the plants. This one is particularly beautiful with the chartreuse center and the pinky mauve edge, and that one's pretty too. I've been most pleased with this multi-branching sunflower. It's been such a delight. I'm going to be saving the seeds from that. I'd like to have it again next year. Oh, by the way, the goji has survived again, got eaten down, and once again it is coming back. So I'm just going to have to keep protecting it, I guess, because somebody really likes goji. This is an elderberry standard, and that's one variety. We picked elderberry from the black lace elderberry and added it to a tonic that I will be showing you in Health to Home. So stay tuned for that one. This one, elderberry, I've already cut back. I cut a good foot off of it. I don't want it to get like a tree. I want to control, but it's much more vigorous than the other standard elderberry. And this little garden area that my husband and I put together, well, it was stalled by all the storms and that we've had, but hopefully we'll come back to that before fall really hits. The perennial hibiscus from my neighbor is blooming and doing really wonderful. It looks like I'm going to get another set of blooms from this white one. It's been fun. The entrance garden still looks good. Not the best. The thistle have taken over during this rain spell. And the daisies are gone, but the rudbeckia looks beautiful. And you can actually see some of the mums are blooming. They're in the center. The heron garden actually is looking really pretty with the rudbeckia nice and full. The ground cover is starting to fill in. I should move that hibiscus because it needs a lot more sun, and I probably will put it in the new garden area. And the grass is looking typical. Grassy. So I think we'll end here with the crabapple tree. I was so glad that we were able to get some yummy crab apples from here and make some delicious crabapple jelly. So it's still loaded. Of course, a lot of it has worms in that, but they're looking beautiful. Oh wait, I do have one more thing to show you. The Concord grapes are starting to ripen, so it soon will be time to do grape jelly, and that will be fun. My granddaughters Jessica and Sarah have mentioned they want to do that again this year, so we will see. And that about wraps it up for this very short herb walk garden tour.